What are y'all doing? I thought today we could do caramel toned makeup. There's a little secret. I'm gonna tell you that secret. So what we're gonna do is, most of us have a random palette. I know we do. And if you don't, I feel like this will be such an easy shade. I'm holding my coffee. I'm trying to open something with one hand. But the number one thing you're gonna need for this look is you need your bronzer. Most of us have a bronzer already, right? And then you don't need this entire palette. Do I use the heck out of this palette? Yes, one of my favorite palettes. But the shade that you will need, and is probably in one of your random palettes, is a yellow. A primary yellow. Now I'm gonna do one eye, and I'm gonna leave this one because I want to hop off and film the other eye. So we're gonna need a C31. We're gonna need some clean canvas. It's actually gonna be really, really easy. And if you wanted to, you could use your cream bronzer, just whatever bronzer. But first I am going to lay this down. If we were gonna use a cream bronzer, I would still lay down a little bit of this, or a clear base, just a little bit of something underneath it. Let's go ahead, take that all the way up to my brow bone. So satisfying to watch it. All right, I decided to just start filming the eye, so we'll just do it. It actually doesn't even matter. Just ignore what I said. All right, I want you to grab your favorite bronzer. Whatever bronzer you're loving, just grab it. You know who has, and if you don't have a bronzer, and I get that. Sometimes we don't have things, but I can't expect you to have everything. But if you wanted to get one and you don't want to invest, you know who has really, really good bronzers, and I kind of want to go buy one? Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild has amazing, very affordable bronzers. Now we have our brush really nice and loaded up, and we're using an E29 because I'm able to use the side to really pack on color first, and that's what we need to do. We're using the side. Anytime you use the side and you push, you're gonna get more out of the pigment, no matter what it is, eyeshadow, bronzer, you're just gonna get more pigment because you're using a wider side of the brush to really pick up product and place product. So that means heavier color. So we're gonna take that, start to transition it towards the brow bone. I'm gonna take some in here as well. And I'm just gonna keep building on this. We want it pretty pigmented. Now I'm just gonna grab this shade from this palette because it's a nice neutral brown. It's actually not too cool. Everything else in the palette I feel is very, very cool, but this one is right in between. It's just a nice little neutral. I have that on the tip of the E29, and I'm just gonna push that into the socket, and I'm gonna have that creep out just a little bit. Perfect. Look at this difference by adding that yellow. It goes to a caramel shade. And remember, my undertone is cool, pink, flamingo, okay? That still looks so flattering on my eye and so smooth. And once we get our finishing touches, did you hear our? I don't know if you know this, but I believe, I'm not confirmed my ancestors, they might have been pirates. Absolutely not. But I literally say our sometimes like a pirate. I'm from Texas. So I should say, once we get our finishing touches on. So let's go ahead and we're gonna grab the smallest amount of the yellow, okay? A wispity wisp. Now where I want you to place this is go ahead and place it in the darkest eyeshadow first. That's always a really good idea so we don't apply too much right there. So that dark area here is going to be able to absorb this, and then we can kind of take it out. All I'm doing is continuing to grab more, and I slowly build up. Always build from the socket. Again, it really does make a difference on how it layers. Isn't that fun? Then I take it over here, because remember, we can still put foundation over that later. Oh, that's pretty. So good. I love makeup. And by the way, if you ever finish your eyeshadow and you hate it, what I learned over my many years of messing up is that if I would take a primary color and push that into the eyeshadow, these are going to be primaries. and I know they're very scary, but they don't have to be. But something like a yellow or an orange or even red, if you're doing darker, deep browns, if you take the smallest amount, like we did this yellow, and you press it in, it can kind of go in there and just kind of transform it, filling gaps, kind of just breathe new life into it. So don't wipe the eyeshadow off, reach for some primary colors. It is important though to reach for a fluffier brush, the fluffiest one in your collection, and to use the side like we have been doing. And what happens there is you get the most diffused application, so you're not grabbing a very dense brush and packing on a ton of pigment. You're kind of just filling in, adding to. I wish somebody would have told me that. And I know it even sounds a little scary. It's not. So just practice it. Next time you already have eyeshadow on and you've had it on for the whole day, just sit down in front of your mirror before you wipe off your makeup and practice it. It's really not hard at all. And it'll just kind of give you an idea. So I don't normally share a lot of my life. This is a very educational, fun place where we just have fun with makeup, but I'm going to share this because I just heard it. So, I have a pretty wreath outside. I don't do the spooky Halloween. I do like cutesy pumpkin. And not that I don't like it, I just don't. In fact, we have a little kid down the street. He's like 2 or 3 and he's actually scared of scary things. So I just, you know, we keep it mindful. But I have this bird that I've had for years in a plastic cage, right? It's a raven, a mini raven, okay? It screams. It's an absolute, and obviously it's plastic, but it's battery operated and it's an absolute menace. And I swear if the wind blows, like that sucker is activated and screaming at you, and it is hysterical. And remember, with what I do, I get a lot of deliveries. Scares the drivers. It is, oh, it's a nightmare. I sometimes feel like I need to take it down, but then I'll watch the drivers and then they'll just start laughing. So it's still bringing joy. If it was truly hurting or really scaring people, I would take it down. But people love this bird. I've had this bird, I don't even know how many years now. Like, it doesn't break and it just keeps going. Sometimes I even wonder, does it actually have batteries in it or is it a haunted bird? It screams things like, people say I'm crazy, and he's like screaming it, and then he like makes bird noises. I just had to share that with y'all. It is so funny. And I am upstairs and I can hear this bird downstairs outside on my front door. He's a spooky little bird. Anyways, he's my little menace and I love him. He's truly a menace to the neighborhood. So I'm going to leave my lid space bare, and that's because I want to do a first impression of Urban Decay came out with Space Cowboy Liner, so I wanted to put that all over my lid. So I'm gonna wait and not put anything on my lid for right now. But I am gonna do, I wanna do a little bit more of a caramel. Actually, I wanna do more of this brown. Is this the kind of brown I'm wanting? Yeah, I want a chocolatey brown to really tie in. Actually, let's go ahead and do my caramel waterline. This has been one of my favorites for years. If this is back in stock, it is so pretty. And I love this color. It's a very unique color. It's called caramel, by the way. I'm gonna grab this Kosas liner. This is actually the perfect kind of true light chocolate, milk chocolate. That's what I'm thinking of. So like a milky chocolate, not too dark. Look at how creamy these are. I love these. Trying to decide if I want to do a wing. I do. Please let me do a wing. There was a time when I did not do a wing. So the fact that I do looks now without wings just shows you how much I love y'all. I gotta do something for everybody. Sometimes I gotta put me first. But we'll compromise and I'll smudge it, because a smudged wing looks great on everybody. But you do want to do, notice how I just did one eye at a time. What I'm going to say is you want to do this pretty quickly, because it is going to set pretty fast. But if it does start to set, all you got to do I never have issues layering these, so just kind of reactivate it again with the liner. And then I'm using this side of it. There you go. Nice. Now we're going to take a little bit of yellow again, and let's just top that. All tying back to that caramel shade. And the yellow is really what adds that really nice warmth. So I'm gonna put on falsies, but I did want to talk about, I've really fallen back in love with this mascara. So I like that I roll it through, like I see that, oof, how I roll it through like I normally do. But then I like that there's this little ball on the front of it here, and then I can really get in here and work on my front lashes. It's so nice. And remember, I have lashes that don't want to stay curled, and this stays curled. It's fantastic. And then I can work out here, and then I can work on just the tip of the lashes, and I don't have to add any more to the root, because if I add too much to the root of my lash, it can really weigh it down. But if I can work on the tips of the lashes, which is, it's so easy with this, then my curl definitely, oh, look at that. It definitely will stay. Love this mascara. Actually, I think I'm not even gonna put on falsies. I'm gonna get y'all a link. This is a really nice mascara, and I forgot how much I love it. Now let's get our foundation on. I don't like other ones as much right now. I love it. It just wears perfectly in this humid climate. I love everything about it. All right, let's get this on. And then C42. Makeup is so much fun. Can't forget this ear. Now there's one more way we're gonna add some toastiness, and that's actually adding a little bit of that yellow eyeshadow where we're gonna bronze, and that'll kind of tie into everything. And if you place certain colors like yellow, which normally isn't going to work for my skin tone, if you place them very intricately and thoughtfully, you get a masterpiece. You kind of transform your everyday. So this is gonna be really fun to do. First, let's get this foundation on. Don't forget this ear over here. Let's go ahead and do concealer. I feel like when I have been wearing this foundation, since I've been wearing this foundation, I'm really just wearing concealer underneath my eyes. I just feel the way that it sits on my skin and blurs, that I don't have to wear concealer kind of through the center. So that's another bonus. Oh, this shade is good. This is the shade I always wear, but some days it just looks extra nice. This is gonna be scary, especially if you have a more cool undertone like I do. Don't be afraid. Don't be frightened. So this is gonna tie into that more caramel look. So all this is gonna do is just golden and warm it up a hair. Picking up the eyeshadow, see that? So I'm gonna apply it kind of above where I normally apply my bronzer and let it transition a little bit. I'm gonna just pick up small amounts. There we go. It's not scary at all. You're just kind of shifting and adding yellow, and the right kind of placement. What you're seeing me do there is kind of even it out. But the right kind of placement of yellow can actually add a really beautiful glow to the skin, as long as it's balanced with the more red tones of bronzer, or your just normal warmth of your bronzer. So now we can apply that on top. And now we're caramelized. Let's go ahead and start to set. Delightful. Also, just for fun lately, and what I'm doing, and when I place it here, it's just gonna, and notice I stop at my natural contour. I don't take it all the way over that way. I'll just kind of follow this right here, kind of that natural curve, and I'll just let that sit, and it just adds a little bit of kind of lift to the face, and I've really been into it. And I also find that if you're worried about powder being heavy, I really have been enjoying this powder, and I'm not seeing that it's heavy at all when I do this. So I've been having a little bit more fun with shaping. Now this would actually be considered baking because I had already set, and now I'm kind of shaping and baking. And that's what baking essentially does. It's going to help with longevity. It can. I don't really bake underneath my eyes because I don't feel like I need it, and it can be a little heavy, especially under this more expressive area, but through here it's a larger space, and it's not as it's not under eye thin skin. Instead of swiping away bake, I like to push it in. That way we don't get any kind of flashback, anything like that. It's just so much better. Just if you want to bake it all, push it in with your foundation brush. Now on my lash line, I have my bronzer, and I top that with the yellow, but I did a little bit extra yellow underneath here. And the reason why is it's going to make my brown eyes really glow. This blush is so pretty. I've really gotten into these again. They just go on so smoothly. Anything baked is just gonna be really, really smooth. And isn't that pretty? I like the colors. I feel like it's, obviously the formula is delightful, but I really like the colors. I feel like they don't all just look the same when you put them on. We're gonna do 2 lip liners, which might sound outlandish, but I love these 2 together. So I kind of start out with Grayish by MAC, and I find this one to not be as dark as, say, Make It Forever Endless Cacao, but it's that cool toned. And then it's not as dark as MAC Stone either. So I really, really like it, just to actually kind of carve out and contour the lip. Then I grab the shade Beige Turner, and I put that on top, but the depth of Grayish is still going to be there. I love these 2 together. And then to keep with caramel, I did a little bit of Call It Cozy, and this is a really yellowy shade. It's so good. I think that's everything. I ran out of room. Come out. I'm out of room. Actually, that's not true. I'm going to film. I'm curious to see how this looks, but I want to do a fun first impression. I feel like with glitter, and I already know that this formula does wear nicely. I've worn this formula, the Urban Decay, the 24/7. It's great, but I do want to see that. I feel like that'll just be fun to try it out together in a video. I love this makeup look so much. I feel like a lot of times if we have a cool undertone, we want to stay away from yellow, and for the most part in large sections we absolutely do, but to use yellow to kind of enhance and use as much as our skin can handle, our skin tone. Mine really couldn't handle much more than this, but that compared to my arm and everything, that's looking really, really nice. So we kind of just use it as eyeshadow all over the face. It's just a way to express and kind of shift a little. All right, my friends, I love y'all so much. Tomorrow's story is going to be pre-recorded, which worked out perfectly because I have a meeting all day tomorrow. It's for, I really can't talk much about it, but it's something I've always dreamed of. And I guess you'll eventually see. It's not a collab or really anything with Rose and Ben Beauty. It's just, like I said, I just can't say much. But just, you know what? Dreams come true. They really do. You know, dedication, yes. Have I been dedicated to this for a long time? It's something I love doing every single day, but you know, it comes together. But when you're just here and you just keep on and on and on, you know, it happens. So I'm excited for that. So that's where I'll be tomorrow, but you'll have a story tutorial. And then Thursday, I'll hop on and we'll talk about some things that I'm absolutely loving. Maybe some, I think everything's been working out. Maybe we'll open some new stuff. I've got some holiday stuff I think that we need to look at together. So we'll do that on Thursday. But tomorrow, I mean, obviously I'm always around in my DMs, but I've been trying to pre-film things. That way, if I do have to do meetings and things of that nature, that we have a tutorial. I'm 2 steps ahead. All right, I love you with all of my heart. Not sure I'm gonna post tonight. I might post tomorrow night. And the reason why is because we have dinner with a brand tonight, so I want to be present, of course, with them. So I love y'all with all of my heart. And I'll see you tomorrow. It'll be pre-recorded, but it's a good look. All right, I love you so much.